Picture this. It's a bitterly cold dawn in the tiny village of Nurabad. The wind is just howling outside, and inside a crumbling little hut, a struggling family is waking up to face another brutal day of survival. Welcome to our explainer. Today we're diving straight into a classic, super powerful tale about magic clay. It's an epic test of character wrapped up in some seriously deep magical lore. Let's get right into it. The entire moral anchor for this journey actually comes from Zora. She's a profoundly wise, though severely ill, mother who tells her son, "Honest wealth takes time, but it goes a long way." Simple, right? But as you'll see from the source material, this explainer takes us on a wild ride where crushing poverty clashes directly with absolute integrity. It explores what happens when you hold on to your morals when you have literally nothing left. Spoiler alert, it unlocks rewards you couldn't even imagine. Part 1. The Poor Potter's Struggle. So, to really grasp the magic later on, we have to understand the absolute despair right now. Meet Maher. He's the village potter, a total master of his craft, but his life is just falling apart. It's this tragic, vicious cycle. Because he's poor, he can only afford cheap, low-quality clay. And because the clay is cheap, the toys and pots he takes to the market literally crumble right in his customers' hands. He has to refund what little money he makes, leaving him totally unable to buy medicine for his sick wife Sohara. Driven to absolute desperation, this fundamentally good guy decides his only option is to wait for midnight, sneak into the wealthy local Zamandar's field, the big landlord, and steal just a few handfuls of high-quality soil, just enough to make a batch of pots that won't break. But things go horribly wrong. Mahir gets caught in the act. The wealthy Zamindar and his servant don't just stop him, they brutally beat him in the dark. They treat him like he's not even human, spitting these exact words. "Are there animals in the shape of humans here? Get out, you clay thief." And honestly, the most heartbreaking part of the whole thing, Mahir is forced to endure this violent humiliation right in front of his 10-year-old son, Yusuf. Mahir is physically broken, for sure, but worse, his spirit is just entirely shattered. Knowing he doesn't have much time left, a bleeding Maher takes young Yusuf out into the courtyard under the moonlight. And here's the thing, he doesn't show him anger. He shows him his craft. He quietly walks his son through 3 sacred steps, finding the perfect balance of water to knead the clay, meticulously pushing every ounce of air out of the mud and shaping it gently on the wheel. He's passing down the absolute mastery of his ancestors. By sunrise, Mahir's heart just gives out from the sheer humiliation and he passes away. Just like that, a 10-year-old boy becomes the man of the house. Part 2. A son takes the Ryu. So this kid is forced to grow up way too fast, right? He literally and figuratively takes over the wheel his father left behind. Fast forward over the next decade, and young Yusuf really steps up. By 15, his hands have the exact same flawless artistic magic his father's did. By 20, he's a hardworking young man carrying the immense weight of being the sole provider for his aging mother. But here's the catch. Despite all that incredible skill, Yusuf is still trapped in that exact same cycle of crushing poverty. Without good clay, his beautiful pots are still just as fragile. That is, until one afternoon when a wealthy merchant spots Yusuf's incredible designs. The merchant realizes, hey, if these pots didn't break, they'd be fit for royalty. So he makes an unbelievable offer, 50 gold coins. 50! That's a massive, life-changing contract to provide 1,000 unbreakable pots in just 1 week. I mean, 50 gold coins is more wealth than Yusuf could make in a lifetime. It's his ticket out of poverty, a real home, comfort for his mom, the whole shebang. But of course, the pots have to be flawless, which means Yusuf needs high-quality clay, like yesterday. So what does this all mean for Yusuf? In a massive moment of panic, is history going to repeat itself? He actually sneaks out to the very same Zamandar's field at night to steal clay. But he's spotted. The Zamandar bursts into Yusuf's home, shatters all his hard work, and hurls the exact same horrific insults at him that killed his father. Totally shamed, Yusuf turns to his mother, Zohra, who reminds him of that powerful moral anchor we talked about. She tells him that if wealth doesn't come from an honest place, it's just a curse. Yusuf repents. He vows to never steal again, even if it means venturing deep into the perilous, unknown forest to find natural, unowned clay. Part 3. The Test in the Forest. Now we're getting to the mystical core of the story. Yusuf journeys deep into these mysterious woods looking for good earth. But instead, by a secluded pond, he stumbles across a dying darvish, a wandering holy man, parched and begging for water. The old man warns Yusuf not to drink from the pond, saying it's guarded by a deadly spirit. Yusuf bravely dips his pitcher in anyway, and suddenly a booming, supernatural voice echoes from the water. Think carefully. Shortly after taking this water, I will kill you. Yusuf doesn't even blink. He basically says his life is worth risking if it means saving the dying old man, and he pulls the water out. And boom, this is where the magic bursts into the story. The dervish reveals that there is absolutely no evil spirit. The voice? Just a test of character, a test Yusuf just passed with flying colors. As a reward for his sheer selflessness and his absolute commitment to honest labor, the guardian of the forest points Yusuf to a hidden deposit of magical golden clay. It's this divine, self-shaping earth granted only to mortals with a completely selfless, greed-free heart. Yusuf packs his baskets with this glowing treasure and sprints back home. Part 4. The Magic of Honest Labor. Back in the village, though, a really harsh reality sets in. Sure, Yusuf has the perfect clay, but that merchant's deadline is practically staring him in the face. The math is just terrifying. How on earth can one man mold 1,000 pots in 7 days? Yusuf works relentlessly, day and night, but human hands can only move so fast, right? 3 days pass. He's only finished 100 pots. 4 days left to make 900 more. It's literally physically impossible. Exhausted, terrified, and on the verge of losing everything, Yusuf just collapses by his potter's wheel in the middle of the night and falls fast asleep. But then, the midnight miracle happens. Yusuf jolts awake to a strange sound in the courtyard. He runs outside and sees the impossible. The wheel is spinning on its own. The golden clay is leaping out of the baskets, mixing itself with water, kneading out the air, and shaping itself into these breathtakingly intricate designs. The magic clay is doing the work for him. When the deadline hits, Yusuf doesn't just have 100 pots, he has exactly 1,000 flawless, unbreakable masterpieces. The merchant is absolutely astounded, hands over the 50 gold coins, and Yusuf's life changes forever. Part 5. Greed meets its fiery end. As you might guess, word of Yusuf's sudden wealth spreads like wildfire. In no time, his broken-down hut is replaced by a stunning mansion. But look at the stark contrast here. Yusuf uses his honest wealth to help the poor of the village. Meanwhile, the local zamindar, he thinks all the wealth in the region belongs to him by default. He just can't comprehend how a poor potter surpassed him. So, the zamindar and his servant Salim spy on Yusuf's mansion at midnight and see the golden clay shaping itself. Blinded by absolute greed, they kick down Yusuf's door, draw their swords, press a blade to his throat, and demand the magic mud. But oh, they make a fatal error. The zamindar reaches out and grabs the glowing clay. Instantly, a blinding, radiant light erupts. The spirit of the dervish materializes right there in the courtyard. The guardian's voice literally shakes the walls. You have touched the smud with bad intentions. None of you will survive. He calls out the zamindar for the cruel murder of Mahir all those years ago, and for his sheer, unadulterated greed right now. The conclusion is absolute. In a massive flash of righteous, magical fire, the zamindar and Salim are incinerated, like literally turned to ash on the spot. It's the ultimate consequence. They are entirely consumed by the very greed that drove their whole lives, leaving Yusuf completely safe and protected by the magic he earned through pure honesty. Part 6. True wealth is honest work. So, the dust finally settles in Nurabad. The source material resolves with Yusuf becoming the most respected, wealthiest, and kindest figure around. But here's the absolutely crucial takeaway. He never lets the wealth taint his heart. He knows that the second greed creeps in, that magic clay would turn right back into ordinary mud. So let me leave you with this thought. It's super easy to judge the characters in a story, but let's point the lens inward for a second. If your bank account, your success, and all your wealth were tied entirely to the purity of your intentions and your honesty, how rich would you truly be? Think about that. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.